What do you think the Tucker interview with Putin's going to be like?
Every interview with Putin is this.
I had no idea.
Putin's a murderer. So when I say the next thing about Putin, I want people to understand where I'm coming from. He's has no problem murdering people, oppressing people, lying to people like a lot of leaders do.
Yeah.
Okay? Now. But having said that, you have to set that up. He is an incredibly smart, classy guy when he speaks. And I disagree with him on his policies with gay people, on his policies with shooting Anna Politskaya in the face. And that wasn't nice. Now, instead of killing RFK, the media's ignoring him so much that he has to do my show and Tiger Belly. What's worse?
Ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Rough Week Podcast. We got a special guest in the building today, fellas. Ladies, if you're listening. Tim Dillon.
Ladies.
This
My crowd is mainly women. And I like it.
Yeah.
Because the thing about women, to me, to be honest with you, they are the connoisseurs of comedy. I'm kidding.
They do know what's good. They have a good palate.
They have a good metric.
These ladies, they get it. They get it, these women. I want to point out my glasses. I got them. The World Bank did a pop-up in Palm Beach. I bought these glasses. I am watching right now the Israel-Gaza war. What's so cool about it is they just got another hospital, but it was essential. It was. Because underneath it, there was a lair.
Yeah.
But because on the left, in my left one, I have Israel-Gaza, and then in the right one, I'm watching Ukraine, Russia.
Yeah.
And it's just one of them. So thanks to everyone at the World Bank. Shout out to the World Bank. Like and subscribe. Shout out to the Council on Foreign Relations. Hit the subscribe button. You know what will eventually get like that? Like the Illuminati will have to eventually, like there will be someone like standing outside, like, like one of these like ornate buildings in Brussels, Belgium, where like all these lizards are gathered, and they'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Like, tap the like button if you like what we're doing. If you like the new Mossad, you need to subscribe. Do you like the new food system? We think it's fair. Smash that like button if you like the new food system. Delivered right to your door once a week. Not bad.
Yeah, dude, you are going to see like intelligence agencies being like, what's our strategy for YouTube Shorts?
Yeah. Well, they are already like the CIA now they do all the diversity stuff.
Oh, that was a great commercial.
They're doing those commercials because you know what's sad about life is that everyone wants to be cool. It's really sad.
Yeah.
And it's terrible because you'd think that people would grow out of that.
Yeah.
Especially, that's why, like, Vladimir Putin is refreshing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not good all the time. Although there's like one person who works for him who goes, he's great.
Oh,
There's always one guy who works for Putin who hasn't been killed yet who goes, he's extremely fair.
Yeah, but he's not trying to keep up with the youngins. He's really just himself.
That's what's refreshing about Putin. He doesn't he's not going to come out with any type of you're not going to see like Vladimir Putin do like the podcast circuit. Like he's not gonna, you know what I mean? Like
Zelensky's on the podcast.
Everyone
circuit.
is. Yeah. Everyone is.
Yeah.
RFK and God bless them. Everyone is. You're not going to, Putin is like one of those leaders who goes, we don't really have to justify this to two dope queens. We're just gonna
it's so funny seeing bad friends with Vivek Ramaswamy.
Putin just doesn't do that. So even though he's doing like some evil, diabolical stuff, there's something really refreshing about a guy who's like, I'm not doing Tiger Belly to promote my war.
Yeah.
I'm not promoting my war on the Trash Tuesday podcast. I'm not going to the Tim Dillon Show to promote my genocide. I'm going to do a nice, clean genocide.
He's old school.
He's kind of old school dictator.
He's old school. We're longing for that. I think there's part of us that is kind of fascinated by people who don't give a shit about being like cool, even if, and this is the bad thing, some of those people are going to be very evil. that don't care about being cool.
I feel like you kind of almost have to be, because you have to lead by charisma or you have to lead by just
You
force.
gotta have a little who gives a fuck.
Well, you have to have a mission, too.
Yes.
You have to have a mission.
Purpose.
Yeah,
you don't think Vladimir Putin, he doesn't seem like he's driven by pussy.
No.
He likes money.
He loves
has
money.
palaces he barely uses. He's got like some really crazy stuff. But he really believes that his mission is to safeguard the Russian state as a thing, Russia as a thing. And the U.S. and the West forever has just wanted to pick it apart and dismantle it.
Right.
That's what we like to do to
You can't
places.
have another superpower.
Well, he kind of wants a rebirth of the Soviet Union, right?
He doesn't. Well, listen, here's the thing. He's said that he feels it was the greatest tragedy in the 20th century that the Soviet Union disintegrated.
Yeah.
He said that. That's different than wanting a rebirth of it. I think what he wants is the territorial integrity of Russia to remain. And I think that if we had our druthers, like if you read The Atlantic or like the Smart set, like the Smart, Are we losing you? Ladies, are you still there? If you read, I'm kidding. If you read
We should break this up with some crowd work.
We will.
Start asking where they're from.
Yeah.
If you read like The Atlantic and stuff like that, all the articles are like Russia's a failed state.
Yeah.
Russia must westernize. Mm-hmm. And Russia's been around for a very long time, like much longer than we have. And listen, I don't want to live in Russia.
No.
Russia ain't great.
No.
But I also, like, if you came to me and said, what's on your agenda today? Westernizing Russia is not even in the top 10,000 things I want to do. And that's every human being. And yet, the writers of these things at The Atlantic
pretend you care,
will tell you that you actually have an interest.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You're in Pittsburgh, you wake up, you have one cigarette left, you're like, am I on the job site today or not? Am I in? And you call in, they're like, you're in. You go, yeah, I'll be there. And then you're walking to the job site and you're like, fuck, and you're getting ready to spend 11 hours roofing. Mm-hmm. If you were to stumble upon an Atlantic, they would tell you that actually what's very important is that Russia has a lot of Starbucks. Like, it's got to be really...
And for you, westernizing Russia is a lot. It's further down the list than getting a nice smoked fish dip or like a, Yeah,
I mean... I really believe in something that no one believes in anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's something that the boomers were interesting in that I'm writing this book about them. And I'm obviously trashing them because that's what makes stuff funny is to trash it, right? So I get it. You know what I mean? It's like,
that's not funny. It's like mean.
Yeah, but it is what I get it. It's like people trash me all the time, and even though I'll get mad at it, I go, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have been funny had they not, had they been like, well, it was nice that she's... But the boomers did one thing really, like they used to tell their kids, mind your business.
Yeah.
All the time. Like boomers would say to their kids, hey, mind your business. You go, why is, when like the couple across the street would get a divorce, you'd go, why does Josh's dad pick him up on Thursdays?
Yeah.
And they would go, mind your business.
Yeah.
Ask Josh. You mind your business. Like,
go outside, mind your business.
Yeah, mind your business.
Yeah.
Mind your business. I'm having a conversation with your aunt.
Right.
Your cousin's on heroin. Mind your business.
Is that how you feel about Russia?
I feel a little bit about like that with a lot of places. We've got to mind our business.
We're not minding our business.
We never do.
No. The U.S. has never minded its own business since it's...
Because our business is not minding our business.
Yeah.
It is funny to see how quickly, like, when we start liking some world leader or oligarch, whatever it is, like Prigozhin or Zelensky, like how quickly they want to be... like on carpool karaoke, how quickly they want to be just in the zeitgeist of like our pop culture. It happens in like 2 weeks.
Well, it's so powerful. As soon as Zelensky's on, The Masked Singer, it's like, okay, well now there's going to be a lot more flags.
Well, we are desperate. The thing that you have to realize about all these people that are running the show is this is the first time they've had real competition. They've never really had real competition for perspective. They've maintained it. Really, for well over a century, they've had a lock on everything everyone could think.
Yeah.
And they would allow these like small debates, and they would seem large. like when I was growing up, like the debates between Republicans and Democrats seemed huge. It was like, oh my God, are taxes going to be 39% or 37%? Are we alive or dead? Like it seemed like so big, but they were nothing really. The debates were it's like basically like the whole debate in the Iraq War came down to like, should we kill them all or 75% of them? That was the debate.
Yeah.
That was the debate. Like the debate right now about the Israel and Gaza war is, should Israel fry these people in a fryer or saute them in a pan? That's all it is, the debate. That's the whole debate. Right. Is how they should be cooked. Should we use a panini press? Or can you get the same grill marks on a grill pan?
Should we use butter or olive oil?
It's just no debate. You feel like there's a debate because there's like a bunch of people in the street with poster board.
Right.
And, as I walk to my, show in Washington, D.C., there's a bunch of people in the street being like, stop this. Yeah. And you're like, wow, it's really contentious.
No.
Yeah.
And
behind the doors,
it's also funny too when you see like the Free Palestine signs. I'm like, I don't necessarily disagree, but it's like, buddy, we're not even close. We're not. We're not even. That's not gonna happen.
Right? It's insane.
At this point, just go. Here's what I would do: go ask to be hired at the Four Seasons in Gaza. At least go, if I survive this war, can I get preferential hiring? Can I at least get an early interview at the Four Seasons that they're going to open in Gaza in 24 months?
Yeah. Right.
I'm telling you.
No, you're always saying
they're going to have.
You're always saying they're going to have like resorts and like amusement parks.
What do you think's going to happen? 75% of the homes are unlivable because of the thing. What do you think's going to happen? It will be the first City. Apple smart city. Literally, we're 30 years from now. Like there'll be a couple sitting there, and they'll be drinking like a mojito
with the goggles on,
and they'll be there, and they'll be like, we ordered this with our mind. And then like, you know what I mean? Like someone will come over, and I did this on my show, but. They'll go like, and the wife will be like, hey, we're from Dallas. Where are you from? And somebody will go, I am from here. And she'll go, oh, wow. Like here? Like how long has your family been here? And he'll go, 100 years. And she'll go, oh, and do they still live here? And he'll go, no. They were killed. And she'll go, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Is the pool menu different than if we have lunch inside the restaurant? Because I want... And I mean, listen, I know that there's issues over there.
This table's a little dirty. Could we wipe it off?
I'm not telling anyone how to feel about anything. I'm just saying this seems the most likely scenario.
Yeah.
Is that that area will have to be... And here's the thing, it kind of has to happen. It has to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Because
now
it's already ruined.
Yeah, now.
Now is I'm only going off now. All we can do is go off now.
Even if you did like a ceasefire, you stopped. You can't just be like, all right, guys, everybody go home.
All right, get back to it.
I read today that 80% of the homes are uninhabitable.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you do with that. It seems to be that it'll get rebuilt. And it needs to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
And it should be rebuilt by Saudi Arabia and the United States and Israel, but because they're the responsible, right? Israel and the United States, which are money, and Israel obviously. Yeah. Now, listen, it is a war, and Hamas started it, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm not saying Israel has no right to go in there and defend themselves, although this seems a little much. It's like sometimes I would go out with my friends, and we would really... we go to a steakhouse, we really do damage, and it would be like the waitress going like, listen, you have the right to order, but what you guys did tonight, we once ordered a cheeseburger as a side. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then cut it up and like people at the table are eating it as a side. And it would be like the waitress going, listen, this is excessive.
Dude, do you remember when we went to the steakhouse with Ray and his wife was supposed to come and she just he showed up like a half hour late and you're like, where the fuck is he? He's like, sorry, I'm late. He's like dressed like Ray, looks like Ray. He's walking through this beautiful steakhouse screaming. He's like 40 minutes late. You ordered for what you thought was enough food for 5 people or 4 people, and she didn't show up, and it was enough food for like 7. Then she didn't show up, and the 3 of us just ate all of it.
Yeah,
it was like the most pain I've ever been
like
in.
What Israel did. Where they went in, and it was just like Shellfish Tower. Carpaccio. How about the tartare?
No, we've each had like 3 entrees, and Ray's like, let me get that pork chop.
Right. So it's like, listen, at this point, with Gaza being the way it is, you go, it'll get rebuilt. So it'll fall on the U.S. and Israel and other Arab countries. Now, the problem is, it's like when we go over to the Ukraine, we go, we're going to give you all these weapons, we're going to help. The Ukraine can't afford this, by the way.
No.
They can't afford all that help we're giving them. So, we're giving the help in exchange for
pillaging
rights.
Yeah.
Rights. Ukraine was the breadbasket of Europe. So they have a lot of farmland there. They have all kinds of stuff going on agriculturally. Guess who owns that?
Yeah.
Now, guess who has the rights to rebuild all those Ukrainian cities that are damaged? Us. So in order for them to pay for all the help that we've given, and it is help. I mean, for sure. Here's some weapons. Fight. Some people might say maybe do a negotiation or try to, but they go, no, let them go for it. And then at the end of it, we have rights to some of their agricultural production, all of that stuff.
Right. That is our favorite play as a country.
It's a good play.
Foreign affairs wise, that's our favorite play, is to just go, we got you, missiles, bombs, whatever you need, and then we get there. Wait, there's oil under here. Interesting.
Well, we should
Interesting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We get some of that. Yeah,
that's absolutely right.
Halliburton. All of it.
It's just proximity to Russia, just allyship.
Yeah, I mean, it's an inevitable part of what we do. Yeah. And we're probably not going to reinvent the wheel at this moment in our history.
No.
That's not going to, like,
we're
this
just going to phase out the military industrial.
We're not going to have it. You can write the articles. I can flap my mouth. No one.
Yeah, I've read the Atlantic. I think we should.
No, but the Atlantic and what all they do is very interesting. What they do, and it's always like an interesting touch. The way they do it is they're like, here's what we have to do. Like. So, for example, let me pull up one article that is, this to me is a fun article. This is exactly what I mean, right? Because they got to get you excited for it. They got to get you excited for it. You got to get everybody kind of pumped up and everything like that. And this article, okay, so the title of, let me find it here. Drudge is great, Drudge Report, but they have it. It's I saw it today and I was like, oh, this is a lot. This is a lot of fun. Iran can make nuke in week. So that's basically what they're basically like. If they want to, Iran can make a nuke in a week. So maybe we should start thinking about how we're going to invade them now. Because how can we not? How can we not fight Iran? They can make a nuclear weapon in a week.
Well, isn't this like? Yeah, I mean, it's weapons of mass destruction. Is it the same old kind of argument?
Same old argument. I mean, listen, Iran is you have crazy mullahs. Anytime you have somebody who's like really religious, it's a different kind of worry if they have a nuke. But it's like one of those things where what Iranian nuclear power and nuclear weapons do is they throw the region into a very interesting thing, because Israel and them, we're looking at a potential problem over there. Yeah. And we don't, and that region is very oil rich, and it's like, hey,
chill.
Yeah. Chill out.
Yeah. And this is all Cold War shit too. Like starting with like you have a nuke, I have a nuke, we're gonna stand
It works
off.
With very big countries that kind of have some. It doesn't work as well with Islamic fundamentalists.
No.
That doesn't really work.
Well, it's like mutually assured destruction doesn't sound that bad, by...
If you believe really that...
Like jihad, if you genuinely buy into that.
If you believe that dying's good...
Yeah.
Then it's difficult.
It's a wild starting point for a war.
It's hard to debate with that.
Yeah, because we're not operating off of a belief system. We're operating off of money. I mean, the belief system's money.
Yeah.
And keeping the economy.
Well, we believe that dying's bad. That's why we come up with technology to kill other people for us.
Yeah, it's a fundamental American belief.
Rich people love living.
Yeah.
They love living. They don't care if poor people go and die in Iraq.
No.
Yeah.
They'll write song. They'll let song and movies going.
Yeah.
They say he died with honor. You know that, but they like living. Go to areas of really rich people. They do everything to live. The doctors are great. The produce is great. The food is great. Everything's fresh. They won't let factories near where they live because they want clean air.
Right.
They like to live.
Now, it's a working class thing to be like, I've done enough time. I think it's time for me to go in peace. Like that whole I've been on this earth long enough. I just want to go out in peace. I've lived a good life. That's a very working class thing.
Yeah.
Whereas rich is like, I'm just going to stretch this thing as thin as possible. I don't care if I'm a corpse that's being propped up and pushed around.
Yeah, you've seen that tech CEO guy who's like trying to keep himself young.
He's putting his son's blood in him.
Yeah, he's putting his son's blood in him.
About?
You haven't seen this guy?
His
I forget his name is like Brian something.
And his son is his blood boy.
Yeah, he's having a blood boy. He's really confirming
forcing his son to give him blood transfusions.
Yeah, but that I think a lot of athletes do.
Yeah,
stuff
Brian
like
Johnson has taken his reverse aging journey to new levels, conducting the world's first multi-generational plasma exchange with his then 17-year-old son and 7-year-old father earlier this year.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so he's really trying to get himself young.
Dude, he's a creepy
he does not
looking
look
fucker
young.
too.
He does not look that young. He's in great shape and he's very lean, but you look at him, he's like 46. You're like, yeah, he looks about 46. I mean,
you're not the thing about a lot of the people that are trying to do this stuff is it's not going to work.
No,
it's going to be awesome when he gets hit by a bus.
Yeah, it's not going to work, and you know what it is? He enjoys it. That's the thing. He enjoys.
He's a neurotic freak. I mean, he's obsessed with dying and can't stop thinking about it. So he's devoted every waking moment to eating, 4 grains of quinoa and half a mushroom, and every 6 weeks.
Putting his son's blood into it.
Putting his son's blood in. He goes to a fake UV thing to get the right fucking vitamin D. He's got this machine that shocks his ab muscles. And he's doing this is 100,000 push-ups or 100,000 sit-ups.
You're
you're
people
insane.
like that are interesting. It is very interesting.
It feels like they're missing the point a bit. It's are you enjoying any time on the planet?
They're missing the point a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they're
a lot of the point.
That's what I mean. They're clinically insane. If you brought them to a psychologist, they'd be like, "Yeah, you're very neurotic."
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to want to be here for 300 years.
I mean, it's insane.
I don't want to be here I want to be here. I don't want to see next week. No, but I understand. Living life and wanting to live life, but it's always interesting to me, people who want to live for 300 years. Everyone they know dies. Every person they've ever met, and they just keep reinventing.
Yeah,
they're like, hey.
It's pretty narcissistic.
It's interesting
to be like everybody I ever loved is dead. I'd like to go for 200 more years.
I'd like to keep going if that's possible. It would be interesting if they upload.
You never think like that. That's always it's kind of nice. You're always you want a good 60. 65,
I don't. Being old doesn't look great.
No.
Old doesn't look fun. I know it's better than the alternative, I guess.
Maybe.
I also believe that something being longer isn't necessarily better.
No.
So if there's people that have been around for 90 years of real bad stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily make it great.
It's been a shitty 90 years.
70 years, and then anything above that would be a real gift.
Yeah.
There are people that are real healthy in their 80s, and that's great. I mean, there are people that are enjoying their lives at that age, and that's great too. And who knows what medical advancements.
They were enjoying their lives before.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what's coming down the pike? But it is interesting the people that want to be cryogenically frozen and brought back, and they want to upload their consciousness to a
computer or something,
MacBook, and just and then eventually that'll get put into a body, a robot or something.
That's horrifying.
That'll probably happen.
Yeah,
it'll probably happen where your brain is in a robot.
You think we'll be dead before then, or do you think we'll see it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, things are weird now. The fact that AI has gotten as good as it's gotten in the past few years,
immediately.
I mean, I could see. In a certain amount of time, you have very realistic looking actual AI.
Do you think that's been expedited for any weird reasons.
I think that like DARPA, which is like the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, I believe I got that acronym right. DARPA, yeah, isn't it a DARPA acronym?
Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency.
Okay, yeah.
Nailed it.
Hell yeah.
So DARPA is something where the military is, I love how they breakthrough technologies and capabilities for national security. This is the thing.
The metamaterial visionary. Right. Voices for DARPA. Right. What's that, a podcast?
Voices from DARPA.
Of course they do. So
the metamaterial visionary.
DARPA is the thing when everybody talks about that wasn't a UFO. That was us. That was our own technology.
It's always DARPA.
They're talking about DARPA.
Yeah.
DARPA had a version of the internet in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Okay? What DARPA has now would terrify you. It is the science fiction stuff. Occasionally some of it leaks out, and then they'll make movies and write things about it.
Yeah.
It would not shock me if DARPA had a pretty realistic artificial intelligence being at this point that would probably be, maybe in the form of a robot for sure, but definitely they have something on.
They have software.
They have software for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe they have it in a physical form that would probably terrify us.
And you just mean like that the software, like it looks or not, it thinks and like behaves like a human.
It can mimic it pretty well.
You think like because right now it can write a paper like a human, it could sound like a human, but when it starts thinking and feeling like a human,
so there's an argument that it's already doing that.
Well, there's that thing.
They have those arguments all the time.
There's definitely that thing like we're being exposed to like ChatGPT or whatever, like something that can make a picture, but there's something that has a network of these things. It's an AI that references other. It's sort of like exponential that way.
Yeah.
And so that's something we're not privy to at all. We have to use these things one at a time. Like there's no reason the government
There's got to be something, because DARPA's whole purpose is to develop technologies to fight the wars of the future.
Yeah.
This is DARPA's entire mission statement, right? So what they're basically doing is they're basically looking at all of the things that our enemies could potentially develop and are developing.
Yeah.
This is why corporate espionage is such a big deal. China's been very good at it. I'm sure we're decent at it too.
Yeah, we're probably all right.
This is why, we want moles in other people's governments, and intelligence agencies put moles in our government so that we can, understand what they are coming up with. You can go watch Oppenheimer, and this is, laid out very plainly, right?
Yeah.
What most people are thinking about now is over the next 20 years, a lot of our lives are going to be moved to digital platforms. And then what is a war on a digital platform?
Yeah.
What is a crime
like cyber
on
attacks,
a digital platform?
Yeah.
When can you arrest somebody
for what
for
they've
a
done
crime?
online?
What constitutes an actual crime?
Right.
At what stage of, because we're heading towards a time when, you're going to have algorithms that are kind of predicting your behavior based on some pretty solid inputs that you're giving. It's also can listen to you and all that stuff, right? So at what point can you arrest? And I'm reading a book about this now. It's a pretty interesting book, but those seem to be the ethical questions of the future.
It's like future crime shit. It's
that's
like
exactly
right.
Yeah.
It's like Minority Report or whatever the fuck.
So China right now they have the best surveillance technology in the world.
Yeah.
And our elites are going, we need, and then China, now if China has that, who sells it to the world? China.
Yeah.
So our elites are going, hey, we need actually that technology so that we can sell it to the world. So even though we're hate China, we're anti-China, there's a lot of what China is doing that our elites are actually a 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep up with the Joneses.
But China's so ham-fistedly or very clearly authoritarian, whereas we're not fundamentally based that way.
That's correct.
Yeah. So I mean,
we have Netflix.
Yeah.
We have
right.
Raising Cane's. Yeah. You've been to Raising Cane's?
Yeah, they don't have. I love.
What's good about Raising Cane's is there's no options. You go. It's chicken fingers.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
what you get.
That's the best thing about it.
Authoritarianism in America will never feel like it. That's
right.
That's the actual brilliant design of it. It's actually going to feel good.
Yeah. It's like distraction and pleasure-based authority.
You still don't, you can earn a living in this country. And the difference between this country and China, where we are clearly less authoritarian, and China is more authoritarian, and they might have an advantage long term. Our billionaires are completely allowed to kind of do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. And in China, that's not the case.
No.
China is run by a mafia family, a ruling family. We also are, but our billionaires are like other crime bosses that we have to work with.
Yeah.
China very clearly lays out the rules, and if you do something they don't like, they will put you in a truck. You know, like it's different than America will like shame you and cancel you and disgrace you, and there's things we can do to make your life suck.
Yeah.
Rarely, and then if you piss off the CIA or you get too close to something, we can whack you and kill you.
Yeah.
It's been happened to journalists and stuff, and it happens arguably to political leaders and to all that stuff.
But you have to hide it and make excuses here.
You have to cover it up. There's at least pageantry
up.
Involved, whereas China's very like, no, we don't like that. He's in a truck, and it's over.
Yeah, China is an old world society.
Yeah.
Where it's like when Prigozhin, this is the example I was given. When Prigozhin led that coup that didn't work, that wasn't a coup, that was being cheerleaded by all our idiots on Twitter, like, look what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then all these, the regional governors of all these provinces in Russia are like, no. We were. This guy makes us money.
Yeah.
The guy in the white. What? The Pentagon's a very formidable thing, but we don't. People here don't understand much of anything. They're just like, so, and I didn't know, like,
it was so funny you seeing, like, comedy bookers be like, let's go, Prigozhin.
And by the way, so that guy was a guy, just giving you an idea, and I didn't know, I'm not going to pretend I was omniscient. I didn't know what was going to happen with that.
Yeah.
Because it's Russia, so no one knows.
Right.
But I did go, this is interesting that we're rooting for a guy who was, this is a warlord who's
violent.
leading,
he was ridiculous.
Leading a group of rapists and murderers that he got directly from prisons to go kill Ukrainians. And the guy, and you're like,
it's like the French Revolution. It's beautiful.
The difference between that society and our society, is summed up, I think, in the way that he was killed and how relatively quickly it happened, and because in Russia, there is no way to rehabilitate your image. In America, we are a modern society, and we can give someone a game show.
Yeah.
Like someone can get a reality show.
Yeah.
Like, you have more...
You can do a Prigozhin, J6, like all the people from J6, like they get together and live in a house or something like that.
Like the guy who did January 6th with the horns.
Yeah.
He'll be a congressman. He'll go on an apology tour in 5 years, like write a book.
Nobody in Russia is going, well, Prigozhin's going to therapy. He really learned a lot.
No.
He's growing.
It's an old world society, which people have to get shot in the face. They don't have the imagination to launder his public image the way that we, like if Trump, I always give this example, if Trump's like, I don't want to be the president anymore, Hollywood would kind of begrudgingly have to let him back in. Like, but George W. Bush, remember him? Like he will go on Ellen, and he's a painter now.
Yeah,
George
he's adorable. He's adorable.
Reverse the Geneva Conventions, which were the most like important anti-torture. Like literally, George W. Bush goes, "We don't believe that a prohibition on torture makes sense. We actually believe," and that, like, obviously everyone was like, "What about the ticking time bomb?" Which these are all fake scenarios that they would come up with.
Yeah.
But not only did he reverse it, he didn't say, like, to the CIA quietly, like, if you need to do something crazy, we're going to look the other way. He institutionalized and defended torture. Like, he'd get out there and go, it's not torture, we're just drowning them. And then the apparatchiks on the right wing would go, no, he's right. It's not really torture.
And now Michelle Obama's getting interviewed. She's like, we're besties. We like really started
so it's a great example. Like Michelle Obama and him, like they, and then he'll go on Ellen and he goes, I'm a painter now.
Yeah.
So George W. Bush has reintroduced himself as a painter.
Yeah.
And in Russia, that can't happen.
No.
Because they don't have the apparatus, the machinery that we do that allows people to constantly launder their public image and reinvent themselves. It doesn't work there. No. They just have to shoot you in the face.
They just blow you out of the sky.
That's probably why there's not even like a Prigozhin situation here, is because that apparatus exists. Like there's no, imagery that you can just put out to people and be like, we're all going to storm.
Our Prigozhin situation was January 6th.
But even that, it's like, it
was what I mean by that is it's like, it was like a bunch of theater kids.
Yeah, it's like symbolic.
They're like right-wing theater kids. January 6th.
Yeah.
And they're being kind of like partially maybe led by like the FBI.
Yeah.
And they're like these FBI agents in there and they're like, and it's like a weird thing where like everybody kind of wants to, you know what it is?
It's a bunch of grown men dressed up like furries.
Yeah, and they want like they're nuts. They're nuts. They think that they're going to do something historic.
Oh, you got to trust the plan.
They're going to do something historic. So what they do is they show up and they're like really excitable, and then they're lunatics. And I'm not trying to say that they're good people. People listening to this are going to go, no. They're nuts. They're crazy people,
psychotic,
and they show up, and then they've got other crazy people around. So everybody's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a
like,
meetup.
Yeah, it's like there's parts of the world where you go where everyone has the same mission. Like Cancun spring break.
Yeah.
There's nobody there that is unclear about what the plan is.
You're going to get fucked
It's
up.
like booze, drugs, fuck, booze. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And when they all showed up January 6th, they all had the same mission statement, the same plan. We want to get attention.
Yeah.
We want to rabble rouse, and they were wild, and it got wild.
Right.
So that's, was our kind of embarrassing version. Very embarrassing.
It's a cringy coup.
Yeah, it was cringy.
Well, it's also the thing about America. It's also funny. Like it was also that's that Russia isn't as funny as us. Like our coup was so funny. It was literally guys with podiums just being like.
Taking pictures with Nancy Pelosi's desk.
Like guys giving a shaka in the middle of the Capitol.
There's an old woman there for some reason.
They're really the thing about Russia. This is funny.
That's a classic.
Name? Yeah. Oh, Richard Barnett. Yeah.
He got arrested for this, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He's doing like 15 years.
I mean, Jesus Christ, for putting his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
the thing about Russia is the culture there is much less. Ironic.
There's
what I mean?
Yeah, there's no pageantry.
So they don't really have that.
They're stoic and serious.
Yeah, that's why they had to shoot Prigozhin in the head.
They had to fucking snipe his plane out of the sky or whatever.
George W. Bush, has pretty much he's kind of like, people are kind of like,
they're chill with him. He's a total war criminal, and they're like, he's going to dance on Ellen.
Two wars, lied about one of our greatest domestic tragedies.
Just flat out lied. Mission accomplished.
We're just like, he's like a night, but he's like a night. He's
nice. Like fun. You'd want to get a beer with him. You'd want to get a beer with him.
And maybe you would.
I think you would.
Well, but the thing about George W. Bush is like, we always look at these people and they're clearly fun.
Yeah.
But yes, you would certainly want to get a beer with the George W. Bush we've been led to believe he is.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are elements of him that are that. But then there's also elements of him that are not that, and you'd wonder, and it might that's more interesting to me. Like,
of course,
but he's a little bit of a goofball and he's fun, and
right.
He's
you're right. You wonder how much of a goofball he actually
he's like a cheerleader.
He was
and
the president, so this
is
what the media does.
Yeah.
The media says how people can be made fun of. And this is actually really important about how, like, we end up looking at these people. So the media is like, Bush is a real retard. Like, that's what they say. They go, he can't speak. He mispronounces words.
Yeah.
He's a doofus. He's a bumbling idiot. Like his father, Poppy Bush, H.W. Bush, they were like, he's a bumbling guy who, like, can't figure it out.
He's kind of a dork.
He's a weak guy. Like Bill Hicks had that great joke. He's a wimp. Newsweek put wimp on the front of the thing. But all the while, they ignore like Iran-Contra. They ignore like JFK. They ignore like the fact that he was, in the CIA for a long time and no one knew.
Yeah.
The father. With the son, they really kind of like skated over the fact that he probably went AWOL during the Vietnam War. Almost certainly did,
Yeah.
They skated over a lot of other stuff in his past, and they just focused. and fixated on the fact that he was goofy.
Yeah, he's a silly guy.
Southern accent, mispronounces
He's
words.
not even from...
Nuclear.
They're not even Texans.
No, they're not.
They're from like Connecticut.
Yeah,
right?
they're
patrician Connecticut family of wasps.
And then they moved down to Texas and were like, "Hey, yo!"
Because this is again the laundering of the public image.
Yeah, I know.
They're what we do in America.
Genius. It's so much smarter than the image of the bumbling goofball. The cheerleader and
well, it's
whatever.
also not that dissimilar to Russia that has clans. Putin is a St. Petersburg guy. Mm-hmm. His clan is out of St. Petersburg, and then there's other clans that are Moscow. There's that, and they have groups of people, power factions that exist.
Okay.
You know, you have the Texas oil people, you have the New York money people, you have all these different groups of people that have a lot of power, a lot of influence, things like that.
Yeah.
And what the Bushes married brilliantly was those Connecticut, Yale, skull and bonesy types, and those Texas oil boys.
Yeah.
And they created a
marriage.
very fun genocidal machine.
Just like a waspy Princeton grab. You're like, how we doing, y'all?
And they went through Latin America, and they wend through all these places and just installed whoever they wanted, and then they killed Kennedy. And
How do you? What do you think the Tucker interview with Putin's going to be like? Do you think it's going to make? It's obviously going to be huge.
Every interview with Putin is this.
I had no idea.
You know, so that's what.
Maybe not the most entertaining interview.
No, it's every. I watched him give a 2-hour speech. The thing about Putin is this: Putin is a reasonably paranoid guy because people do want him dead. We want him dead. Putin knocks off a lot of people that are in opposition to him. Within his country, you know, Alexander Navalny, not dead, but in like a gulag.
Yeah.
A lot of oligarchs meet a bad end when they tangle with him, when they're vocally critical of his policies. They end up impaled on, places outside of Moscow. Putin's a murderer. He's not a guy who has any problem killing people.
Yeah.
You know, so when I say the next thing about Putin, I want people to understand where I'm coming from. Has no problem murdering people, oppressing people, lying to people like a lot of leaders do.
Yeah.
Okay? Now. But having said that, because you have to set that up.
Yeah, of course.
He is an incredibly smart, classy guy when he speaks. And I would be surprised if he wasn't that way in his interview.
Yeah, you think he'll come off.
As a murderous dictator goes, I think he's going to come off pretty
sharp,
astute.
Yeah, I mean, he's a student of world history. He was in the FSB forever, KGB, which is now the FSB. He's and I have a book about him called Putin that's very interesting. And again, this is not to suggest or say that Putin is some type of lovely, sweetheart.
It's kind of bullshit. You can't say anything nice about him.
Well,
without thinking
you have to look at people and allow. Like, for example, we talk about Obama. Like, it is true in the same sentence that Obama was an incredibly intelligent, incredibly cerebral, contemplative guy. Charismatic, intelligent,
cool,
great look for the country. People. Very, had a great, was very good at the job of being president, but also would, allow the CIA to just press a button at will and would kill, and they would just bomb, kids playing soccer, or people getting married, and vaporize people. Like the machines of death would fly over the sky and vaporize people while Obama was on Jimmy Fallon's show.
Yeah.
So those two things are in the same. They're in the same sentence.
Yeah, for sure.
They're in the same sentence.
People have a hard time making that distinction, though, or understanding that they both exist. Like they do that with Trump all the time. I'm like, to pretend like he's not funny and captivating is psychotic.
Yeah.
To watch him and go, he's not funny, and I don't find him interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people are incapable of that, nuanced thing. But Putin will come across. I would say pretty studied and probably pretty, dare I say, and this will upset people, rational.
Yeah.
He's not going to come off irrational.
No, he's not crazy.
That doesn't mean his beliefs are always rational.
Right.
That means he knows enough about how to present himself that he's not going to say something in that interview, I think, that is... And I disagree with him on his policies with gay people, on his policies with... shooting Anna Politskaya in the face after she wrote a book about him. That wasn't nice. That wasn't a nice thing for him to do.
No.
It's not a nice thing to do when the press there, but then also Michael Hastings, whose car went into a tree right outside of Osteria Mozza. If you're in LA, go the Orchetti with the fennel and rabbit sausage.
Ooh.
But it's phenomenal. Nancy
delicious.
Silverton, La Brea Bakery, shout out to her. But a few blocks away, his car just went at 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Speed limit on that street, 40. He decided, funny guy, to just drive 120 miles an hour into a tree.
Yeah.
Now, you might look at that and go,
Yeah.
maybe his car was remote hijacked.
Whatever.
Right?
I mean,
I don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
Now, instead of killing RFK, the media's ignoring him so much that he has to do my show and Tiger Belly.
Yeah.
What's worse? What's worse?
You were
laying on the floor of the Ambassador Hotel, or me and Bobby Lee being the people that care about you?
Yes.
What is the worst fate?
Well, he's totally.
You'd rather
out,
drive
right?
into a tree than be a politician who's doing a podcast.
And I love
Bobby.
RFK. I'm voting for RFK, and I'm doing his fundraiser on the 21st of February in LA.
Yeah. I really
with
like
Bobby
RFK.
Lee and
Do you
Gerald
remember when
Hines.
you found out that you were doing that? You forgot that you got booked that? You called me. We were like talking about food or whatever in LA, and you go, I'm on a show. It's me and Bobby Lee, and it's an RFK fundraiser. You're like, what is this?
Yeah, I didn't know, because I thought it was a dinner. I thought they'd invited me to it. Like, I thought it was a fundraising dinner where we just like, I thought it was just like, you know how they have those dinners where it's like, I don't know how much a plate of food. Like some of these dinners, like $50,000 a plate, right?
Right.
To go watch Ron DeSantis like eat it or lose, right? I thought it was like $5 a plate to support RFK, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, we'll do that. But they're like, oh, it's a comedy show. I'm like, this ain't good.
Oh no,
no one who's having a comedy fundraiser it's not good.
Dude, the flyer
I thought it was
so
going to be
fun.
like at least like other people paying money to do this dinner.
The flyers, I mean, the flyer was like RFK Kennedy 2024, a year for truth and reason, a fundraiser, blah blah. It was featuring comedians, Tim Dillon and Bobby.
It's a bar
literally
show.
a bar show. It's a bar show. I thought it was a political fundraiser.
Yeah,
where you go and you're like, he speaks, and you're like, it's
a bar show where the owner of the bar told everybody, we got comedy tonight, all his boys.
They're like, fuck.
I don't know what to do in the show, but listen, I like him. I'm voting for him.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll be like
allowed to. Like, aren't they pretty much sanctioning him off? Like, I don't.
Here's why I'm voting for him.
Can't vote for him.
Here's why I'm voting for RFK. I do believe if we had him as the president, it would be it would not be bad.
Yeah,
I think RFK would not be a bad president. I think he'd be a good president. I think he knows the system. I think he has radical ideas about the affordability of things and stuff like that, and medical, standards that are our biggest industry now is pharmaceutical.
Yeah,
and I think that he will, and what he's done with Monsanto and stuff with corporations. He stood up to corporations, which is why he's called a lunatic.
Yeah,
right.
And he's being marginalized.
It's because he won 1 billion court cases back in the day.
It's because he won a lot of things against Monsanto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're poisoning the river, and he sued them into submission.
Yeah, he sued them. He won big cases, and I think he also said you could get AIDS by eating mozzarella sticks. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like everybody.
Both are true.
Jews are immune to COVID.
Yeah, he said Jews are immune to COVID.
I'll defend him on that one. I'll defend him on that one.
So I'm voting for him. That's who I'm voting for.
Well, he was talking about the Jews COVID thing. He was like, it might be. That was his whole thing. He was like, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. He did have an air of like, it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's speculating. He's a guy who likes to speculate.
He does.
He likes to have conjectures and
speculations. How long have you guys had this pod?
About almost a year, around a year.
11 months.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, dude.
That's good.
Yeah, thanks.
Fuck yeah. I mean, it's a good... This is what I'll say, because no one has a podcast.
No one's doing this right now.
We're kind of blazing a new trail here.
Yeah. We're setting new standards for the game.
It's unique. Mm-hmm. And I might start one myself if
you think so.
If this works out, the thing about podcasting is like it all started like sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get jobs.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, you don't get a job. You would try to get jobs. You'd be like, I want to be a writer for this. And then your manager will call you and go, they're not letting you write on this.
Not gonna happen.
And you're like, and they'll call you too. They'll be like, hey, they're really big fans of you. And then you call your friend, you're like, I was up for I sent in a packet for the show called That Bitch Real. And yeah,
you didn't get it.
It's not working.
Yeah.
And so then you would just start talking. But it's crazy how like it's become like.
Yeah, you remember when everybody in New York, you'd be doing shows like, I'm a writer on The Rundown with Robin Thede.
Yeah, people were just writers and like people would be like, Comedy Central had these weird, like they would do these weird like destination stand-up shoots,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people would
like
be
Hawaii.
like, I'm on Adam Devine's Volcano.
Yeah.
Guys, my set appears tonight on Comedy Central Canada. Yes. And it's Adam Devine's Volcano. And it's me, and it would be like, I don't know, someone who faked cancer to get on the
it was
show. Some guy who shaved his head who was like, this is my last show. And 10 years later, he's like still out there.
No, that was everybody doing comedy in New York at one point. They were writing for a show you've never heard of, and they were doing a 7-minute set for Comedy Central in the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
That's right. It was always
and everybody's like, Jessica's doing great.
They're like, dude, these people are fucking killing it. And you'd be like, really? And they're like, yeah, dude, they got fucking Desert Fest. And you're like, wait, what? Dude, they're like, yeah, they're performing in the middle of the Mojave Desert. Yeah. And it's gonna be on ComedyCentral.com / stand up / whatever. And it's it's fun. It was a fun time.
They're doing a short set at the top of K2.
Yeah.
And they've got their own 11-minute show on CISO.
Yeah.
That was the CISO era.
CISO.
That was a fun time.
I'm on Blip Blap.
Yeah.
My set is on Blip Blap. And you'd have to explain it to your parents, too.
Oh,
like
brutal.
Your mother or father would be like, well, it's good to see you, you big dirtbag. And, they'd be like, so what's going on with this comedy? Is this working out? And you'd be like, actually it is. Actually it is. And they'd be like, yeah, what are you doing? NBC's putting me on. You're on NBC? I'm on Seesaw. What the hell is that? Yeah. Our son's on Seesaw. He's 39 years old. It's the Seesaw. NBC's putting me on. Yeah. I
showed you, Dad. I have a special on Quibi.
I have a whole act about how you and Mom are racist pieces of shit. And how I paid for an abortion in Williamsburg. That's my set.
Oh, fuck.
No, that was a fun time.
It was a good era.
That's what I used to open for you all the time when we did those gigs.
I remember I had a rough one. We went up into Portland, Maine. It was okay, but that's not Portland, Maine is not and remains to be not my demographic.
Do you remember when we got out of the car? We're up there. I just met him. I'm excited to show him Portland, Maine. He's never been, and I started coming to Boston. So we're driving. I'm like, "You're gonna love it, man. It's so nice, man. It's like the streets. They're brick streets, cobblestone brick buildings. We literally pull up. It's snowy. It's a beautiful night, winter night. We get out of the car. He goes, oh, what the fuck is that? I'm so sick of these northeastern cities where it's like everybody sits with their latte and they watch the New Yorker. He's like, I want to go to San Diego. Everybody's hot and retarded.
Yeah. I was
screaming this in the middle of a street in Portland. Just the sight of it enraged.
There was I saw it the other day in Brooklyn. There's a certain type of white person who every minute of their life they have to look like is grueling. Like it's grueling. Like they're just gritting their teeth.
Yeah.
Like I was in this coffee house in my friend lives in South Slope, Park Slope, but South Slope, and they're all sitting there like angry. They're angry, and it says "End Racism." When you get an Americano, like "End Racism," and you're like, and you're sitting there, and everybody's in brown or black or navy blue or gray. And everybody is just sitting there, and everybody's just sitting tense, angry, and that's what a lot of those northeastern cities to me. the people there, it's just interesting. They want you to know they're smart and they're plugged in
and they're pissed off.
Yeah.
And then you go to San Diego and those people they all have traumatic brain injuries from like their heads have all bounced off surfboards. And they've been in multiple car accidents. They've fallen down hills. Like their parents let them drown in a bathtub and brought them back to life. Yeah. They were all models, or they all like whatever.
Yeah.
And they're all idiots. But at that point in my life, that was really refreshing because I had really performed in Brooklyn for years.
Yeah, it'd be brutal.
It was for a lot of the same type of people.
Yeah, end racism in Park Slope is...
It's just funny. And all white, the whole coffee shop.
Well, they've ended it because none of them are there.
They've ended it. They've done well.
They've ended it.
There's no Puerto Ricans going into those fucking
Can I get an Americano, please? Oh, end racism. That's nice.
So it's that was a fun one. But like, I mean, those towns are still really, I did Portland, Maine the last time, and it was I did a theater up there, and it was like,
not great.
They had fun, kinda.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
do you think they're just not able to have fun? They're kind of just still people?
I just think it's not. There's a certain sensibility up there that I offend a little bit. Not even in it's just my existence.
Yeah.
My very existence kind of offends them in a way. They're.
It's very like pearl clutching. I'm with her liberals up there. That's who's at your show.
It's also there's that, but it's also like there's a very patrician waspiness.
Yeah.
That they don't like the working class. They fetishize and they think they like, or like. But if you have more of a demeanor or sound like I sound, like there's something there in some of those places where that's not what they're into. They would be into somebody who's maybe a little more soft-spoken or a little bit more what they consider to be. I'm a little, too rough around the edges for them to a degree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They were not thrilled.
They want like a meek fisherman.
Well, they're not. They don't even want to. These are like the rich wasps too. They're not excitable folks.
Yeah,
they're just some of them enjoy. I think they enjoyed the show. I don't think they hated me. I just think it was like an oddity where they were like, and bring out the bearded lady and bring out the, and the people are like, okay, and they were into it and they were not. But I didn't feel like we were connecting on anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, that makes
some
sense.
areas I don't feel like I connect in that way, but they're still enjoying it and they're happy they came. But I don't feel like we connect. Like I connect in Rochester. Rochester knows what is out there in this world.
Yeah,
you understand?
Yeah,
and I don't know.
St. Louis, you like St. Louis?
St. Louis knows what is out there in the world.
Yeah,
and that St. Louis. You know what's the most terrifying thing about St. Louis? When you watch like the worst hoods in St. Louis YouTube videos. You don't ever see a gang war. You just see a refrigerator in the middle of the street, which is so much scarier. They know how dark it can get and how desolate and just abandoned and,
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, Manchester, New Hampshire, like, there were certain towns, like, Portland, Maine just has this energy. But then we had good seafood, right? Didn't we have a nice little seafood meal?
We did. We had I think maybe after we did Mohegan, we had a great lobster roll. Remember that shack on the water?
Noyak, Connecticut. Abbott's Lobster in the Rough.
That place
amazing.
is great.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
That's when I learned no mayo.
It's
Can't
great.
go
Oh, you
mayo.
go butter.
No, you do butter. You do the Connecticut style.
Yeah, no,
You don't like
and
you don't like a mayo base?
Well, I'll do it.
I like a mayo
It's
base.
fine, but
I've
it's
never had
the one they do there is if you're in Connecticut, do the Connecticut way.
Oh, fair enough.
If you're in Long Island or Boston, do the Boston way.
It's just got a real deep like seafood taste.
It's cleaner.
And they were serving it to you. They don't. It's not like a hot dog bun or anything. They serve it on a hamburger bun and they stack it up, and they let you know when you buy it. They're like, we do it like this, and then you're kind of like, interesting, and then they go, but we still hate blacks. And you go, okay, and then you're like, oh, interesting, because you're like, are you doing the lobster correctly? And I'm kidding. Abbott's Lobster. I'm joking. I've seen many races enjoy Abbott's Lobster.
Yeah, we used to do those little shows, and they always had like a kooky guy booking it because it wasn't like a comedy club. It'd be like just a
it'd be like an old hipster.
He's out of his mind.
He'd be like a graying old hipster, and his name would be like Brennan.
Yeah,
and they'd be like, Brennan's basically run the comedy scene, and it would be like all these lunatics with PTSD, and they'd be like, Brennan's run the comedy scene in this entire town for like 8 years. Dude,
they'd be like, dude, if you get in with Brennan, you're like kind of set.
Yeah,
like,
all of those guys now. All of those Brennans of the world, without exception, have been accused of violent rape. Violent rape. Not
100%.
one Brennan made it through 2020. No. Not one silver-haired hipster made it through 2020 without a accusation of like dragging a woman up the stairs by her hair and then raping her at gunpoint.
Yeah, of course.
Every single one of them.
Yeah,
dude, and they were all mentally ill too. There was this funny
all
moment.
bipolar.
We go into one of these little shows and there's a Brennan in there. It's the Brennan. Brennan comes up to us. The Brennan comes up to us and he goes, "Hey, I'm so excited to have you guys. You're gonna stay at my apartment. We're gonna get Domino's pizza." And we go like that. And we need. You had no money at the time, and literally he gets like 2 feet away. Tim leans over and he goes, "We're getting a hotel."
Yeah, I was like, he's a lunatic.
There's no fucking way.
Stepping in this man's.
Yeah, he would have raped you guys both.
He'd always. Well, here's the thing: what they would always want to do. It was worse than rape. They'd get you there. They would get rape ends. Rape ends. There's only so much physically you can rape.
Yeah.
What they would get you, they would buy you Domino's, and you'd eat the Domino's, and then they would explain to you how John Mulaney didn't return a message that they had sent.
Oh, God.
And in 2009, and they would like unravel as a human being about this, and you would have to sit there and listen to this, and you'd feel terrible. You'd be like, "Oh, I should have not returned this guy's message." Like, he'd always bring up like the most successful person, and be like, "I couldn't get them to do it," and you'd be like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done this."
Literally, like the TV would be on, and Kumail Nanjiani's like starring in a Marvel movie, and he's like, "Guy cancels gigs."
Yeah, guy text me back. This guy, he's in the Avengers.
He wouldn't do
slappies.
He wouldn't headline slappies.
Dude, that is true about every guy named Brennan was accused.
All those ultra.
If you're like a 40-year-old guy with like graying hair and you have like a barbecue place, it's like, oh, that's the good one. It's the good barbecue place.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look back at it. Yeah. The little power faction that were created, that was their little
world.
Council on Foreign Relations, their little World Bank was the 200 people that, kind of sort of did comedy in New Hampshire. Yeah. And they were like, I control this land.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they realized that they weren't really doing, like, they weren't pursuing comedy as much as they were, like, LARPing in the park with their friends. It was more like that.
They were just
more like a club. It was an extracurricular activity. Yeah. That they were the little king
for sure.
The hobbyists. Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, man.
This is the part of it that the audience really relates to.
They're into this
the comedy
of
lore. This is really applicable.
Well, we gave them foreign affairs.
I agree.
There's nothing wrong with the little comedy lore.
Yeah, they do love comedy lore. Everybody loves.
You ever miss Florida?
Yeah, I do miss Florida. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. But I just miss like the weather, and I miss
the weather,
the prices of things, and I miss driving.
Yeah, I love Florida.
I do love Florida.
My mother loved it. It's in my blood to love it.
It's the greatest.
It's a great place.
Yeah, I remember that's where I opened for you forever ago in Tampa.
Side Splitters.
Yeah, it's Side Splitters.
We had fun. Yeah,
we had a great time.
I love it down there, man.
We went to the beach.
Good gig.
Great gig. You get to the beach. You stayed at a really nice place, right on the beach.
Yeah, that was well, because the one they put you up in.
I didn't know if
you up like a crackhead.
Dude, I remember I came up to pick you up for one of the things, and you're like, I got to get out of this hotel. And I'm like, what? I'm like fucking 19 and an idiot. And I go like, what? Why would you? It's great. They gave you a hotel. And you're like, I could see the highway. I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, it was bad. It was like you're right on the highway.
And you're in like Wesley Chapel, Florida. Like it's just the suburbs of nothing.
I just went down to the beach.
I mean, and then you had a beautiful place, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Florida's nice. Nobody that lives in Florida, I think, is bummed out that they're there.
Or they pretend, the most annoying thing is like young people like me be like, I got to get out of Florida. I got to fucking blah, 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 blah. I'm like, then fucking go. Just go.
Those people are always like, I got to get out of here, man. I got to go to a place where I can fucking realize my full potential. Phoenix. I got to go to Phoenix. That's where everything is happening.
Yeah.
That's where everything is.
It's booming.
Can you imagine that move? Like Florida to Arizona, or even reverse, like Arizona to Florida. It's like a hilarious move.
Yeah, no, I have buddies growing up that are like getting a fresh start in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like that's where they're going to
reach. That at least you could at least say like there is a belief you'll grow with the city. Mm-hmm. Like there is I understand like if you're living in Pittsburgh, there's a certain type of person who's like it ain't much, but it's ours. And that's like the ethos of like living in a Pittsburgh. Like, it ain't much, but it's home.
Yeah.
Phoenix or whatever. That's just like
a nothing.
Yeah, that's like, it's like, that's just what it is. And it's like, I understand, like, you could live a great life there and be very happy there, but it's just a weird thing because, like, the people there talk about it like it's something.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
You look at them, you're like, what do you mean?
They're
like, Phoenix. They're like, everyone. You'll have lunch with someone down there, they're like, everyone's coming. Everyone.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Are you
Phoenix next up.
What are you saying? It's 113 degrees for 4 months out of the year.
Yeah.
It's every hotel looks like a Carrabba's, like a macaroni grill, like an Olive Garden, like every house. They'll have houses for like $12 million. It's a big macaroni grill.
Yeah.
You go, guys, nothing. Cut it out.
Yeah, that was a funny time when all those cities were convinced the whole world was moving. Everybody's moving down. Everyone's leaving New York. Everyone's coming to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah,
the funniest thing about those places and what makes them cool is actually the outlaw nature of them and how crazy they actually are, some of them.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, and it's like, don't like trade that in to just be basic bitch suburbs.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't lose the identity just to live in like a boring cookie cutter house.
You lose your edge when you just let a million people from New York who want to work in
because they're still places still are what they are. I followed this story about this gang of rich white kids going around killing people down in
Gilbert Goons.
in Gilbert in Phoenix, because the people there are still, it looks like, oh, it's mom and dad. They're still hitting the fentanyl pipe. They're still hitting that Fenty pipe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it is in their DNA to kind of be wild people.
Yeah. Yeah, that story is crazy. I was looking into that.
They were all yuppies.
Those kids,
not yuppies, they're rich kids, right?
Well, come on.
Arizona rich kids, upper
Rich?
middle class.
Rich? Excuse me?
the pictures of them, they look like skate park kids. They look like skater kids.
Yeah,
That's the vibe.
the reason it's a story is because they think that
there's a cover-up.
There's a cover-up, that the cops are covering it up. Maybe the cops are just saying, we don't want people to think it's a dangerous town. We want them to think it's a safe city and whatever.
But I was reading that other kid's going to testify now because they killed
they're
the one
all
kid.
going to rat on each other.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to rat on everybody
But
else.
they almost did this once before because they killed the kid who, this is why this became a story, but there was a kid before, they beat him to like within an inch of his life.
Jesus Christ.
And his mom has like convinced him to testify. So
what is the motive here?
There's
like
random.
thrill attacks.
Psychos.
Just thrill attacks, psychotic.
It's like
desert wildness.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we were talking about like this younger, like the kids that are like 16, 17 now, it's going to be bleak. Like they're going to be nihilistic psychopaths.
They're kind of nihilists, and they are going around randomly
murdering.
You
don't think this was happening always? Do you think it's new?
I think that the filming of it is new. And the uploading of it to social media is new, and then that might incur more of it. But to your point, no, it has been happening. They actually had instances like this in the 90s where there was a gang of rich kids in that same town doing
similar stuff,
very similar things. So, no, none of it's new. What's new is that it's kind of more out there in the open, and maybe it's being encouraged in this sick way of like uploading these attacks and stuff, and
well, those like IRL streamers. Have you seen those?
Yeah,
that's they're going. These kids who were like playing, like a few years ago, they were just playing fucking FIFA, and a bunch of people were watching them play FIFA. Now they've had to up it a notch to compete because like the marketplace has changed. So now it's like, go out into public and like sucker punch people.
Yes,
these kids are like, they're like hunting down pedophiles. They'll like find a guy. They're doing like Chris Hansen type shit.
Yeah.
But then when they catch the guy, instead of being like, we're calling the cops, they just like beat him up and torture him. Like it's insane. This is like the new form of entertainment.
That's crazy.
I did see a guy. I wish I could remember his name, but he would just give them quizzes, and if it would be like trivia quizzes.
That kid's funny. Though.
That's so. He would give the pedophiles a trivia quiz.
That is kind of fun.
And if they get the questions right, he won't call the police.
Because it's hard. It is hard to get such a capital of Michigan. Ann Arbor. That is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a good. I hope he actually does call the police after. I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope he's tricking these guys. Yeah.
Joe Jax, you want
there's a lot of sorry. Go.
Sorry, I was going to ask him if you wanted to. You got it. We have clips we usually watch.
Yeah, we're just going to watch some silly clips. And
how long have we done?
I'm not sure.
Quick.
Like an hour. Keep going.
Yeah, we can always
you do a little. You don't want it to be too long.
No.
You don't.
I think these shows that are 2 hours, no one listens.
Oh, shit.
Unless it's like...
no one would put out a 2 hour podcast. Who would do that?
Stupid.
Well, how long do you guys usually do?
An hour 15, hour 30.
Do an hour.
Okay.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, dude.
You know,
do an hour.
Oh, we've been fucking up?
Well, do an hour. You want it. You want. I mean,
They want more. They want more.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Wait, pause that. Pause that.
Can you restart it?
Yeah. Did you see this?
I
think I sent you this, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
I'd like to take him to the back of the barn. I dream of that. You know what I do with him? Oh, I dream of it. I'd hit him right in that fake nose. That fake nose. They'd have plastic lying all over the floor.
Yeah, he's fun. He's a funny guy.
He's really funny.
He's absolutely hilarious.
All the comments on that were like, yeah, right. Bye, Trump. Go to jail. Trump can barely stand up.
It's so funny to see that and have that takeaway.
Wonder if he will be this tough in prison.
Yeah, it is the end of our country. Like, the fact that this will just now get worse. Like, the people that will run will be so out of pocket that it will be shot. There will be a time we look back and be like, Trump was a statesman. Like, it will get to a point where it gets incredibly...
Yeah, he was tactful.
Yeah, it'll be like someone who was on The Sopranos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that'll be their... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their platform in which they... So, I mean, it will degenerate further.
Vincent Curatolo, the guy who played Johnny Sack, he's a big Trump guy. He's probably not going to live.
No shit, Johnny Sack's.
No, but I mean, it will be actors and it will be athletes.
Yeah.
And stuff.
What do you think of like? Have you talked about much about Vivek and his stuff?
I don't. You know, here's the thing about him. I don't think he has a shot.
No, he has no shot. But I think he's vying for the VP spot with Trump. He seems to want that pretty bad.
I think he's too. I think Trump goes with Elise Stefanik or someone who's a lot quieter. I think Vivek is too. He wants to
too
spotlight
spotlighty
too much. Yeah, and I just don't think
they were on stage together and like trading off kind of turn speaking, and Trump looked a little annoyed that Vivek was so impassioned.
I don't see.
He is kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's a little.
The thing with Vivek is, it's like I feel like he's building an email list more than he's actually running for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's like.
Oh my God!
No,
Jesus Christ!
This is unbelievable.
Is that real?
He's rapping "Lose Yourself."
Oh my God.
I don't think this is a serious run. But I think it is fun. Like,
is this guy doing?
do think people are gonna run for president as a way to build their brand outside of it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a lot of great free advertising for you to just run for president.
Yeah, but his brand was like...
I may run to just sell more on the road.
It's not a bad move.
Just run for president to get more subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, they used to do this like beers.
I think
like
Vivek is running to get some subs.
Yeah.
On YouTube. I think that a lot of people are doing that.
He probably is. He's probably just trying to be like a new Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
And he's just going to get a bunch of views.
Yeah, it's free
publicity.
Advertising.
He switched from selling fake Alzheimer's meds, and now he's like, I'm going to be like a public guy.
It's every camera in the world is trained on you for a few months.
Jesus.
Until you wash out.
Because
it's the same thing as like the Andrew Tate thing, where it's like get as much attention as possible and then funnel everybody into a scam.
And then monetize it some way.
Sure.
Yeah, he's definitely going to sell like a 12 steps to being your own boss thing
for sure.
The next couple
There's a
of
course
years.
coming.
Yeah. He's going to do like the Art of the Deal 2, whatever. He's going to write a book.
And God bless. You know, like people need a course.
Yeah.
People
they need a course. They need a $1,200
course.
People need a course.
People like to learn.
Education will be fully, destroyed over the next.
It'll be you buy $1,200 courses,
and you will just buy courses from charlatans.
Yeah,
that are Ponzi schemes. They're all Ponzi schemes, and all these guys are like, I went from winning to watching my friends win, and I'm like, that's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it's a multi-level marketing.
He's like, I get excited now when I watch my friends win because it's a Ponzi scheme. Yeah. That's the definition of a multi-level marketing scheme.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need to suck dick for money. I like watching the other people suck dick for money.
Yeah,
some of these guys will describe their business. They're like, here's how I made $300 million in 6 years. And they describe it. And they literally are describing a multi-level marketing scheme. Like they're breaking down like how it was. I'm like, isn't this illegal?
Well, it's the two words. You ready? As soon as I say it, you'll know exactly what I mean. Okay? It's the two biggest words in this corner of the internet are providing value. Are you providing? Now, no one ever fucking defines what that is.
That fucking
but
means.
They go, are you providing value? Are you providing value? I provided value.
Yeah.
I realized I wasn't providing value for my clients and customers and students, and then I started really providing value. And you know what happened when I started providing value? My numbers went up, my subs went up, my money went up because I was providing value. And if you are out there not providing value, that's what it is. And now a loose definition of providing value is scamming people into buying things from you that they don't want. Heavily marked up, useless horse shit, or just courses and crazy and whatever.
Yeah. There's some of them, there's that little niche of them that convince kids, they're teaching them to go around to like their neighborhood laundromats, neighborhood small businesses, and convince them they need to like up their online profile, up their website, up their socials, and then you just use an automated program to give them bullshit websites. They're just teaching people how to scam everyone in their local community.
I've told several of my friends who get mad at me, men and women alike, they should become prostitutes. They get so angry with me. I go, you're very good looking. Why don't you have sex for money? And they go, do you know how demeaning that is to say to me? And I go, I don't understand that. I go, I think what I kind of do is demeaning. Like you have the great nights as a comedian, the Carnegie Hall, the this, that. But then you have the nights where you're in a club and you're like, sir, sit down. I'm not telling you to stop talking. Just sit in your seat. Like, I'm like, just fuck for money. You're hot. Fuck for money.
Yeah.
Have sex for money. It cannot be worse than than a lot of other shit, than selling cosmetics.
Yeah.
That's more degrading.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
it's a
of course
Patreon
it is.
goal.
Yeah. What is it?
It's a Patreon goal. Once we make it to a certain amount of money, Christoph and Luke are going to have sex.
No, the real Patreon goal, we said we're going to have a $10 tier and we're going to have Joe Jackson's nudes on there.
Yeah, we're going to have Joe's nudes on
We
there.
can't put ours on there.
No
I
one
think
would
it's
buy
got to
that.
be him.
Joe, who is this?
Him. Him. We're going to make him get naked. We're going to sell his nudes.
Jackson?
Joe
Jax is his name.
I thought you were like Michael Jackson.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm like, you have Joe Jackson's nudes?
Yeah, we do.
How did you get
We got them.
No,
He sent
Joe
them in to the
Jax.
show.
That's his name, Joe Jax.
Is he a comedian?
Yeah,
he's a comedian.
He's our friend of ours.
Nice.
Great. Great kid,
Soon
funny
to
guy.
be
Love him.
OnlyFans model.
Are you going to do OF?
It depends on the Patreon.
We're trying to get him.
Depends on how-
We want a Joe Jax nude tier because we think it can't be us. It's got to be him.
It's got to be him.
If we're going to sell nudes, it's got to be him.
Yeah,
As is
way cuter.
just a rough, just looking at everyone? Yes.
Yeah,
More
right?
so,
He's
yes.
much cuter than we are.
Yeah,
To
right.
be honest.
We're not good-looking guys.
It's got to be part of his job.
That's a big lawsuit in the future, though.
Yeah.
That's a big, the podcast I worked for told me to put my balls on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, as someone with a tiny bit of money, relative to other people.
Sure.
I will tell you, you're opening yourself up to a huge legal issue.
Okay, you're going to sign an NDA.
I would,
Joe.
I would never do that to you.
They don't hold
They
on.
don't, you can't trust
No
these
one
kids.
ever does.
No one's ever done that.
No one that sues you's ever said that. He'll come out and he'll be like, you know what they said? They said that I should put my body. And then some judge is going to be like, but
Hey, we'll get you out of here.
it'll all work out. Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks for
doing
coming on,
this,
dude.
dude.
This is a blast.
This is a
been
big moment for all. For
This is
me.
big. This is big for you.
I appreciate it. What I will plug right now, because again, I want to plug the Battle of Mariupol, which was a very interesting skirmish between Russia and the Ukraine, the port city of Mariupol.
Okay.
And I want to just plug that. That's my plug.
Yeah, we'll get that
Joe,
out there.
please bring up Battle of Mariupol
so
everybody knows where
Is there an
to find
Instagram
him.
account or anything like that, like associated? Or
I don't know.
That's a good.
Oh my God!
Come on, dude.
You better do OnlyFans.
Yeah, you fucking idiot. Fucking phonetically.
Yeah, dude. Just pour your cock out, Joe. We don't need it.
There you go. Look, it came up.
There you go. All right.
The
Battle of
Mariupol.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, check that out.
That's your plug.
Siege of Mariupol.
Thank you,
guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for
See you,
coming
boys.
on. Thanks,
Thank you
Chad.
for listening.
That was good.